Here's how to use leaves for an X-ray hack. And here's how to get infinite iron from just a campfire. And these are 20 weird ways to use your Minecraft blocks. And hey, the YouTube Council bets me that you can't subscribe to this channel before I dig down to bedrock. So, to prove them wrong, insta-mine that red sub button down below. It's free and it helps out a ton. Using waterlogged leaves, we can see through walls. And here's how. If you're on bedrock, first dig a canal of water, fill it up with leaves, and then go beside them and till the soil with a hoe. And by doing this, we get exactly 1 pixel of window to see through the world. And it would seem that the reason this works is because the game doesn't render blocks that the player can't see. And since the water inside is supposed to be invisible from all sides, it's not actually rendered. Though it doesn't recognize that we tilled the soil next to it, so we do get a sneak peek through the glitch like so. Don't have a compass? Well, just use a crafting table. No joke, as this user shows, if we just open up the crafting guide inside of a crafting table, we can see the compass sprite. But the thing is, this still updates real time, even if it's just in the crafting book. Meaning we can save ourselves the iron ingots and redstone, and instead just use 4 wooden planks for a cheaper compass. Why do we have so many cauldrons? Well, in Bedrock, these are actually incredibly useful for pixel art. No joke, by placing a bunch of cauldrons next to one another and then dyeing the water inside, it gives you full control over the color palette. And honestly, I think the dark outlines of each cauldron adds to that 8-bit aesthetic. But this is definitely expensive to do, so you might only want to try this in creative. Unless you've got yourself an iron farm that works as well as this one. And folks, the secret here is all thanks to the unlikely block, the campfire. Now, the way that this works is that we have an iron golem killing mechanism that uses a small spawning platform and a campfire so that the golem can't move away from the campfire and it'll constantly get hit. And thanks to its small size and low cost, it could be made really early into your world. So while it's not as efficient as something like this designed by Tango Tech, much like using a campfire versus a blast furnace, it is a great thing to have when you're starting out. Here's how to raid desert pyramids so much faster. Just use TNT. Since TNT has 100% collection, all we need to do is grab the TNT out of the pyramid trap and then use it to explode the chest like so. And from there, we can hide out in the hole, take barely any damage, and then grab all of the loot in a matter of seconds. And this is also great for any speedrunners that are looking to grab resources like wood or cobblestone out of a village. Just make sure that you use redstone to activate it instead of flint and steel, since otherwise the villagers will take damage because of you, and they'll raise their prices out of anger. It might not look it, but this is one of the fastest ladders in Minecraft. Thanks to the unique hitbox of the dripstone spike and the different stages of cake, you can travel up to 9 blocks vertically in 1 block of width. Pair this with a horse's ability to automatically breeze over a single block, and you can find yourself traveling up to 9 blocks in under a second. And if you're dedicated enough and you build one of these from bedrock to build limit, that would only be about 40 blocks wide, which makes these horses seem a lot more worthwhile, even if you do have to use some weird blocks to do it. If you're having trouble finding the dead coral for a TNT duplication machine, don't sweat it, just use glass. No joke, even though it's a less popular way of performing this glitch, all it takes is a setup like so using observers to make an equally effective TNT duplication machine. And you might find this could be even more effective on a skyblock world, where coral isn't exactly close by. And in any case, it's just nice to be able to build one of these without having to need silk touch right away. This composter doesn't look like much, but it's actually my base. Don't believe me? Here, I'll show you. If we just step inside and throw an item right into place, a hidden hopper minecart will trigger and cause this redstone machine to push us right into place. And bam, hidden entrance. And while it's hard to notice what's happening from above, this Reddit user's post makes the mechanics a lot more obvious. Just make sure you place this in a village where it makes sense for there to be a composter. Otherwise, this hidden base could just stick out like a sore thumb. I use a ladder when you could use a door. Odd as it may seem, all it takes is placing a door in a 2-block hole like so, and we can flip it back and forth to climb ourselves out of a hole. Though why you'd be carrying a door instead of blocks seems unlikely. But this might still be a perfect setup for any kind of escape room concept in the future. Here's why you should break your end portal. See, by using this trick, we can smash the end portal frames and turn our portal into a fully functioning duplication machine. And really, this isn't just for sand, but it'll work with any gravity-affected block. So if you need a bunch of concrete powder, gravel, or whatever, this works quite well. Just make sure you have a collection system on the other end. Otherwise, it'll be a mess when you go through. Here's how to wall jump in vanilla Minecraft. See, with a little bit of skill and good timing, you can jump and place powdered snow underneath you and use that to climb up a wall. It does take a bit to learn, but once you got that down, you'll be scaling walls left, right, and center, all without leaving any evidence behind. Instead of using full glass blocks to change the color of your beacons, try using a glass pane instead. The way that it is, a glass pane fits exactly inside the beam of the beacon, leaving you with a seamless color change. And what's more, the color changing in the Java edition is additive, so you can keep adding on those different color panes and make colors that aren't even a part of the original 16 that were given, which will allow you to create some of the crazy color palettes that you see on Reddit. And you could do it all for cheaper than you would with a full block of glass. This is a high-speed sorting system, and And this is how we use waterlogged sea pickles to make it function. Now, as you'll notice, the unique hitbox is specifically 2 sea pickles placed like so, allows for a water source block to align the items perfectly along the edge of the ice block, meaning that we can still use the ice and water streams for a high efficiency system without worrying about any kind of item traffic jam. And you can see from this comparison, this system would not work without these 2 sea pickles, which seems a lot more useful than just smelting them into some lime dye. If I wanted to fill up this hole with water, it would take hours of my time, or instead, I could just use columns of ice blocks like so and do it in a few minutes. Sure enough, with the way that the game fills up water, if you build up your ice pillars in a setup like this and then break them all with a high efficiency pickaxe, it'll flood this hole in a matter of seconds, which is so much better than having to wait around in a pool and do this all by hand. That much is obvious. Stop building your cobblestone generators like this, but rather build it like this. As you'll notice, by using a waterlogged stair instead of a water source block, we get a few benefits. Namely, you can't accidentally create obsidian since the water doesn't flow out of the back of the stair. And even though this has been marked on the bug tracker, it's been open for years, so I'm not that worried about it getting patched soon, if at all. Instead of just heading off to bed and hoping that your villagers make it through the night, you should let your villagers know by ringing the village bell that you placed ever so conveniently next to your bed. That's right, the bell isn't just there to notify you about all future uploads, and thank you, by the way, but it can also be triggered by redstone, meaning with a simple pressure plate setup like this, we can ring the bell once at night for the villagers to run into their homes, and then once again to make sure that they stay in their houses a little longer in the morning. That way, any zombies that are outside can burn away, and we'll all be safe indoors. Or if you're not a fan of loud noises, these azalea bushes can also keep monsters at bay. Because of the way that the mob's pathfinding AI works, they can jump over azalea bushes, but obviously we can do that just fine. So if you're looking for a prettier alternative to the carpet and fence trick, this hedge maze is definitely worth a shot. And thankfully, these don't automatically grow into azalea trees, meaning that this fenceless defense is here to stay. If you've only got yourself 1 bucket of water, but you still need an infinite water source, just wait for nighttime, since if you kill a skeleton and get some bone meal, then you can use that to create seagrass, which if you grow seagrass inside of flowing water, it'll turn that into a full water source block. So whether you're playing in a desert on a skyblock island, or you just don't want to craft another bucket, a bit of bone meal will solve your problem just the same. Instead of growing your sugarcane on dirt or sand, here's why you should use mud instead. See, mud isn't a full block in size, meaning that items can pass through it like soul sand, but we can also grow our sugarcane on top like normal, and that allows us to make this really simple design for a sugarcane farm that's completely lossless, which means we won't lose any of our sugarcane gains this way. Every crop broken is one that we profit off of, and that lets us create an easy design that can stack in all 3 dimensions. Simple as that. What's the difference between this campfire and this one over here? Well, where there's smoke, there's fire, and where there's not, there's string. Sure enough, by using 2 strands of string on top of the campfire like this, we can block any kind of smoke coming out of it, letting us still use this fuel-efficient solution without giving away your location. Think of it as the inverse of the hay bale, turning your smokestack into a smoke lack. Look, at least the trick's better than that pun. And with that, folks, YouTube thinks that you might like this video, so see if they're right and have a good one, alright?